Welcome to another episode of The Heart of the Volunteer. I'm Paul Cummings. You know, some conversations don't start right when the mic turns on. They're going all the time. They've already been happening in different firehouses, different states, different people, all saying the same thing in different ways. And this one just brought it all into focus because when I sat down with Captain Brianna Pruitt out of Perkins, Oklahoma, I wasn't just hearing her story. I was hearing a pattern. A department that's technically full, 25, 27 members on the roster. From the outside, that sounds solid. But when you start peeling it back, 7 people showing up, 3 during the day, maybe. Same people on the truck, same people in training, same people carrying the weight. And it's not because others don't care. That's the part that matters. They do care. They want to be there. They just don't have anything left to give. And that's where we are right now. And she says it without dressing it up. We're time poor. Not short on heart, not short on willingness, short on time. And that might be the most honest way I've heard it put yet, because we spend a lot of time trying to figure out why people aren't showing up. And maybe the harder truth is they're not choosing not to. They just can't. But then there's the other side of it. The side that keeps the whole thing from falling apart completely, the people who still go anyway. And Brianna is one of those people. Not because it's convenient, but because it matters to her. You know, it doesn't fit perfectly into her life, but there's something inside her that won't let her ignore it. You'll hear it when she talks about dispatch. She tried it. Still helping people, still part of the system, but it wasn't enough. Because it wasn't enough just to hear the problem. She needed to be in it. She needed to be the one standing there when it mattered most. And then the conversation turns, because eventually it always does. We talk about the call, the one that changes things, the one that makes you question whether you can even keep doing this. And hers involved a kid, the same age as her own. And in the moment, everything that makes this job what it is hits you all at once. The training, the responsibility, the weight of it. And the reality that sometimes it's not enough. That was the moment she almost walked away. And if you've been around this long enough, you know exactly what that moment feels like. The point where you start asking yourself if the cost is just too high. But she didn't. And the reason she didn't is what this entire episode is built on. It's not just about helping people. It's about knowing that when someone calls, they don't care how busy you are. They don't care how tired you are. They don't care how many people you have or you don't have. They just need someone to come. And she said it in a way that stuck with me. If they're calling, it's not small to them. And sometimes the only thing that matters is that someone shows up. This is one of those conversations that doesn't just tell a story. It explains why it still works, even if it feels like it shouldn't. So here's my conversation with Captain Brianna Pruitt. All right, welcome to the Heart of the Volunteer. I'm your host, Paul Cummings. Tonight, joined by a very special guest, Brianna Pruitt from the Perkins Fire Department in Perkins, Oklahoma. And actually, I screwed that up, Brianna. Captain Brianna Pruitt. Welcome to the show, Brianna. How are you?
Great. How about you?
Oh, you know what? I'm hanging in there. Any night I get to talk to a fellow firefighter is a good night.
Absolutely.
And fortunately, I have a lot of good nights. I get to do this almost every night.
It's a dream. That's for
It
sure.
is. It is. One of my favorite things to do is connect with firefighters from around the country. I've been doing it for a long time. Been in the fire service for 25 years. Wrote a song a long time ago that got me on the American Firehouse Tour and literally went around visiting fire stations. And now that we get to do it virtually, this is awesome. So let's get right into the heart of it. Brianna, tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, who you are outside the fire department.
Yep. So I started my fire service back in 2012, 2011 timeframe. I was a junior in high school. I started excuse the dogs. They're irritated with me because I went on a few calls and they haven't been let out yet.
They want time.
I sure did. So my family's been in the fire service. I'm originally from Vermont. I met my husband overseas, got married, moved to Oklahoma, joined this department, which he actually is a captain at as well. So the fire service is really in my blood. Love helping people. I did a stint in the military, was medically discharged, so I decided that if I could, with what my medical issues from the military, that I was going to keep on in the fire service. And I've been doing it for about 13-ish years, 4 years up north. And then I've been here for about going on 9 years now.
Good for you. Good for you. How's life different from Vermont to Oklahoma? That's got to be like opposite ends of the world kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So up there, it's winter about
Yeah.
11 and a half months of the year.
Yep.
And down
Yep.
here, it's summer about 11 and a half months of the
Yes.
year. So
Yes.
two completely different climates.
Yeah, I'm from the Northeast, Rochester, New York. So I get the winter
Okay.
experience and I get the lake effect snow experience.
Yes.
Went down
Yes.
to Texas back in 2012 and thought I was going to die. Like it
You do
was
get used to it at about,
98 degrees at midnight. I'm like, what is
yes.
this?
And the humidity is something else.
Unbelievable.
You get
Unbelievable.
used to that humidity and heat about 8 years in.
8 years in. All right. And you're on the 9 years. So you just cracked it. All right. I love
Just cracked it.
it. So
Yeah.
so we got a little background on your fire story, but I want to hear about you outside the fire department. So obviously you're in a volunteer organization. So
Yes.
your time when you're not on calls and you're not going to training and you're not doing your captain duties obviously is occupied by other things. So tell me a little bit about who you are outside the fire service.
So I love helping people. So I did a stint in dispatch for a local tribal department, and I found out that it it wasn't for me. I liked being on the other side of the radio. I liked helping people. I felt
You're kind of
very
blind on that side, right? Like you're part of
yeah,
the crisis, but you can't really directly infect it. You can, but you
yeah,
can't. You're
and
helpless in a
it's
lot of ways.
right. And I think that was my biggest issue with. I love dispatchers. I love what they do. I have a huge respect for them.
Absolutely.
And it's just like being a firefighter, being a law enforcement officer, whatever. It takes heart, and I just I couldn't do that job because I have to be hands on, and so it was really difficult for me to. I mean, I was forced to because I was in center, so I couldn't go out and help. But it was really hard for me to release and say, "Oh, okay, so I gave the call out and now it's up to them."
Right.
And we work with the tribal departments, both law enforcement and fire department, and I know they're trained and I know they know what to do. It was just really hard for me as a human being going, okay, I took the call, I gave it out, and that's it.
Yep. So when you were dispatching in that district, were you dispatching mostly to volunteer companies? Is there a lot of combination companies or paid companies? Like, so what's the makeup of the county or the
So
territory?
for them, it was they had a full-time chief, and then they had volunteers.
Okay.
They now have a paid guy, which so that's a paid chief and a paid firefighter. But their bulk of their people are still volunteers. And then obviously the full-time 24/7 police department. So it was just those two entities that I was dispatching for
Okay.
but I did work with the local county dispatch centers a lot.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So tell me a little bit about the Perkins Fire Department, the Perkins area, what size district, all the fun facts that we all like to know about the fire department.
So we are a combination department. We have three paid guys,
Yep.
chief, assistant chief, and we actually just grew enough that we have a full-time firefighter.
Okay.
All really amazing people. Love
So is that
working.
full-time firefighter a driver? Is he an officer? She officer, firefighter? What's the role of that paid person?
He is a jack of all trades.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of
um,
maintenance, a little bit of whatever needs to be done.
yep.
Okay.
Yep, he is all around. He drives trucks. He was actually a volunteer before he was hired on with the department. Super great guy.
Volunteer at
Loves the job.
Perkins.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
so he's got a long-standing history in that fire department. All right, not like he's brought somebody from the outside and plugged him in there.
Well, and we held we held interview process, application process, just like any other department. They had to go and pass a physical and whatnot, and he was the one that was picked,
Yep.
and it was because we knew his work ethic,
So
and he was comfortable with us, and I mean, he's a great fit. I mean, even before he got hired on, he was a fantastic guy. So
very good. Very good.
yeah.
So how about, so we've got that out of the way. We got 3 paid staff. Tell me about the rest of the volunteers. Well, how many volunteers do you have? I know it's 2 numbers. How many volunteers on the roster? And then we'll talk about how many of those are active.
Yeah. So we've got we are almost full staffed, and about I want to say 27 now.
Okay, so 27 volunteers total.
Yeah, it's between 25 and 27.
Okay. That's fine.
And about 7 of them.
Okay, and that fits right with the averages, right? I always say I got an active roster between 45 and 50. And we pull about half of that on training night, anywhere from 25 to 30. And then those calls, then I like to say we get the fire, the big MVA, everybody shows up.
Yep.
But all the other calls, I say we're right around that 6 to 10 range as well. And it seems to track with everybody else I've talked to as well.
Yeah, and so this is the first time that we have been close to full staff since I've joined 9 years ago.
Now, when you say full staff, like you try to cap it. Okay, so you try to cap it at a number, like that's what you consider.
So in Oklahoma, there's 3 different numbers. Municipality, I believe, is 25. Now, don't quote me on these because I'm not exactly sure.
That's fine.
OSFA, which is the Oklahoma State Fire Association, is I believe 30, and then for the pension is in between those 2, and I don't know that number right off the top of my head. So we have a good number. I just like every other volunteer department in the country, we are struggling to get people to come to trainings. I will say that we are very blessed right now because we have we got a lot of new blood in. They're green, but they're willing to learn, which is refreshing.
So you say a lot of new blood. So when did a lot of these newer members come about? The last couple of years, the last year? How many are we talking?
Last couple of months, honestly. Well, maybe let's go with a year because I don't know if you heard.
Why do you think that is?
So last March, we had a very devastating week of fires. And that really opened everybody's eyes. Are
you talking about like wildfires or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I imagine it gets really dry. That's part of your life in the summertime. Yeah.
Yep. Most of the year, most of the state is in just a drought situation, give or take most of the time. We actually just got some rain, which was much needed. Unfortunately for us, usually if it's not like a slow, dry soaking or a slow soaking rain, there we go. It just makes it so hard for us to go out because everything on top of the ground is dry, and then the ground is just wet enough for us to get stuck. So it's a mess. But back in March 14th, 2025, we had us in Texas and I think Arkansas had wildland fire outbreaks, and it felt like the whole entire states were burning up. Like it took over everything. And so it opened a lot of people's eyes to volunteer departments in the area. Our communities came out and just loved on us, which was super helpful. Donations of food, local businesses were giving us free meals. There were local businesses letting us use their properties for staging. It was, you don't know, like they don't realize how that little, even letting us park in their parking lot and just getting a rest on long days, because we were out there for, week long.
Yeah.
We still had fires popping up. That small little, hey, you can use my property to set up your unified command. It means so much to us because then we're not on the side of the road. We're not, in the middle of the thick of it when we're taking a rest, because we both know that taking a rest in the thick of it is not taking a rest.
So I did a flood relief. We don't get wildfire. You're from Vermont. I mean, we
Yeah.
get them, but they're not to the extent that of what,
Right.
you and the people out west deal with.
Yeah.
But we get a lot of flooding. And so
Yep.
I did a deployment once, and it's funny you mentioned that because our rest was we had to sleep on a concrete floor in a fire station, naturally. However,
Yep.
we were in a valley, and there was a dam protecting that valley. And they told us before we went to sleep, if you hear the siren, you have 4.5 minutes to get out of the valley.
Ooh.
Tell me how you sleep when you know this thing's about to breach, right? How do you
Yeah.
sleep? And then you wake up and you're right back to work. So I
Yep.
completely I did that. I did those deployments for us last 3 4 days. I can't imagine what like a week of that feels like.
Yeah.
But it's showering, even just having like the simple things that people don't understand. Like you've lost your access to a shower, which you
Yep.
take for granted every single day.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I took a shower this afternoon because I was like, all right, I'm a little stinky. We need a shower. And then
It doesn't
right
take
after,
long. And that
oh,
Oklahoma heat too. I can't imagine it
oh
takes
yeah,
long at all.
right after I got out of the shower, the pager's going off for a grass fire. I was like, why? How does this happen?
Yeah, yeah, they come in
So
waves. So,
they do.
how many calls you guys run a year?
So last year we ran about 500 to 550
Okay.
in between. So median, but we're
Now,
blowing that out of the
of
water.
that, well, of that, what's EMS to fire?
EMS is about 75%.
And that's again, you guys are tracking like right with everybody else. And
Yeah.
we used to get called, and I don't mean so when I say this, everybody calls 911 for a purpose, and for
Right.
that person in the moment, it is the number one thing on their mind. Crisis mode. I respect it and I understand it. I also got called the other day for a 30-year-old sweeping a floor with back pain. Never in my wildest dreams 20 years ago would I gone on a call for somebody sweeping a floor with back pain. I have back pain every morning I wake up. I'm 42
I,
years old. You know,
yep.
the amount of volume. So, and how that trickles down to our workforce, you start to see them burned out. So,
Yes.
back to those 2025 people talking about 500 to 550 calls a year. Okay. Of those 2025 people, okay, how many of them are around during the day?
Um, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. And those basically retirees and young people. What's that
Um,
makeup around during the day?
so it's the 3 paid guys, but they're off during the weekends.
Okay.
And then you've got a
Do they still respond on the weekends though? You get a structure fire, you still see those
yes.
guys? Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought so.
Especially the young buck that we just hired on about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah, he
Yep.
still shows up. He's
Yeah.
like, I'm not missing this.
Absolutely. Hey, like I said, 20 something years in, and I still get giddy when the pager
Oh,
goes off. There's still a
absolutely.
lot of nights I'm halfway down the driveway before I even realize what we have going on.
Yeah, you just get toned out. Nope. Yep, I hear you.
Never goes away.
So my husband's also a county deputy, so he's on shift work. So if he right now he's on evening shifts, so he goes in at 4 and he gets off at midnight. So between midnight and 8 a.m. when my child goes to school, he's asleep. So I'm running calls, and then when our child goes to school, we're both running calls during the day.
Okay. Very cool.
So so and then we got an individual who works for the city that they allow him to run calls during the day. He doesn't get reimbursed for that because he's on company time. And then myself and one of the other guys were both entrepreneurs. So we have the freedom to kind of go and do things and
Right.
for the fire department.
Right. That makes
So,
a world of difference, right?
yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So you said you're having a little trouble with people showing up to training again,
Mhm.
which tracks. How
Yep.
long has that been going on? Has that been something that's gone on since you've been around, or is it just something recent?
It's something that's been going on since I've been on.
Has
We
have you guys met, like, if we found a reason, what's the roadblock to get
It's just
people to
not
come
enough
out?
time.
Not enough time.
Is that it's everybody's got their work, and then they have the want and the will to do this. They just don't have the time because they've got families. The families got their children have games that they're out showing cattle, which is a big thing down here.
Yep. Yep.
We just don't have time. There's not enough time. We're time poor. We don't have enough time in the day.
It's
And it
become the most valuable asset that anybody carries with them.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And you can, when you talk to these, it's not that they don't want to be here. And that's my big thing is like, I listen to these guys all the time, and it's not that they don't want to be here. It's they've got a few of our guys just had babies. They're brand new, or not
Changes
brand
everything.
new. They're another child just came into the world. Another grandbaby just came into the world. You know, you want to spend time with those people as your family as well. And it's not for a lack of, you know, what we would call t-shirt firefighters. It's literally they just don't have the time, and I feel for them because they want to be there, be out there training with us, but they also want to be there and witness the things that are going on in their personal lives. And I've gotten in arguments with sorry, I'm in my shop, I got bugs flying around. um with a few of one of the other captains, he's getting frustrated because the same people are showing up to training, and I'm like, man, we all have lives out here. We got families. I mean, my son, he's almost 6 years old, and he has been at that fire department since he was born.
Absolutely. Yeah. I do the same thing with my kids. Like
Yeah.
I got into this for my dad, right? I mean, I was just, I got asked today because actually I got interviewed earlier today. And that was one of the questions, like, how did you get into this? Or how many years have you been doing this? And I said, well,
Mhm.
I officially got in 2001, but 1989, my dad joined. I was about 5 or 6 years old, so I've been a part of this ever since. Like,
Yeah.
and that's what I want to transition to.
Okay.
So, way back in the beginning, okay, you had mentioned to me that there was a family connection to this.
Yes. Yep.
Um, Take me back to that first day that you got in. The first day Brianna Pruitt was officially part of the Perkins Fire Department. What did that feel like? Do you remember?
Um, it was nerve-wracking. Um, so I came from a department up north in Vermont,
How many years did you spend up there?
about 3.5, 4 years.
So
Um,
you were embedded into that system. 3, 4 years, you start to get embedded into that. I've got to imagine moving to Oklahoma, joining there is almost like starting over because it's a
it
different
was.
world, right? I
It
mean, it
was.
really is.
So I got out. So I deployed in 2015. 20. I started to.
Military, right?
Yes,
What
military.
branch?
Army National Guard.
Okay, good for you. Thank you for your
Like,
service, by the way.
absolutely. As you can tell, I just can't give that up.
But that's what we're getting into. I mean, this is the type of
Yeah,
person you are, right? Like, okay,
absolutely.
so stay back in that time frame.
So I grew up listening to the stories. My both grandfathers on my mother's side were Air Force.
Okay.
So I had to go a little different and go Army, which some tiffs came out of that, but it's fine. um, of course, you know, joining during wartime wasn't really great on my mom's sanity either, but we made it through.
You're right.
So
Right.
I grew up listening to stories like that. Um, and and then my uncle and both my cousins were on the fire department that I was on previously. So I grew up listening to their stories. My one of my cousins is a
Did you know growing up, listening to those stories that you were going to do this someday?
mm,
No, so
no,
that was never like as a child, that was really kind of not part of the vision.
I wanted to go and be a nurse just like my cousin.
Okay,
I'm
no,
not a
that's
nurse.
still that's the same field though. I mean, it's the
It
same
is.
kind of application.
Absolutely, it is. Never did I think until I was about, I want to say 15, 16 years old, did I really start to take an interest in first response.
Yeah. Now,
It was also hospital care.
so you were in Vermont at 15 or 16.
Yes, I
So
moved.
did they have like a youth program that you could join early, or did you have to wait till you were 18?
I joined a little early, just because of my family
Sure.
and who we were very well known in the area.
Yep. Yep.
So I joined at 17, but I wasn't able to do much until I was 18 because they
Sounds like
didn't
my
have.
story. Yeah.
I take that back. I was my godparents up north were captains on a different fire department, so I did a explorer program for 4 years
Yep.
actually. So I
Yep.
started when I was in ninth grade, give or take. Really got into it when I was in ninth grade, and then I swapped over and went because there was no way that I was driving all the way from Putney, Vermont to Chesterfield, New Hampshire, which is about a 20-minute trip
Yeah.
to run a call. So I guess it was before then. But even when I was in the Explorer program, I loved it. I just wasn't sure if it was what I wanted to necessarily do. I wanted to help people. I
Yep.
just wasn't sure that was the route that I was going to go, because I wanted to get in the military, go to school, go FBI,
Okay.
or I wanted to go nursing of some sort, and none of those happened.
It's amazing how it's amazing how life works out because it's funny. I went to college to be a firefighter.
Mhm.
And in New York at the time, you couldn't be a career firefighter till 21. So I was 18. So I'm like, well, I might as well go to college for it and kill the time. And
Right.
I actually enlisted into the Navy.
Okay.
Long story short, I broke my wrist, couldn't end up going. So
Ah,
college became the thing. Um, but I never ended up being a career firefighter. So here,
yeah.
2 years of my life, a degree, and life kept pulling me in this other way. You go back to talking about wanting to help people, okay? And
Mhm.
I think that's obviously the number one reason that most people do this.
Yes.
I'm not going to call it a surface answer, okay? I am
Okay.
going to call it an easy answer. So
Absolutely.
I want you to dig a little deeper. What is it other than helping people that makes you keep getting up? You talk about the work schedule that you have, being an entrepreneur, which I know keeps you busy. You talk about being a parent, which keeps you busy. So yes, you want to help people, but describe to me if you can a little bit more in depth about what that thought process is.
I think it's for me, it's knowing somebody's hurting, and they're calling somebody that has trained. I mean, a majority of my life. I'm 32 years old. I've been doing this for 13, 14 years now. I've trained to do this. I know what I'm doing when I get on scene. I didn't make captain for because it was there. I had to prove to everyone that I knew what I was doing. And when they call, that is the worst day of their life. And to somebody else, it might seem like such a simple thing, like you fell down, oh, just get back up. That's if they're calling us, there's a reason. And I want to be that bright light in somebody's life and showing up, even though I probably look like I'm grumpy, especially at 1 o'clock in the morning. That's just my face.
We're all
I,
grumpy at 1 o'clock in the morning.
yes, yes, because usually it's about the fourth time I've argued with my child,
Yeah.
and I had just gotten to sleep. But I
Yep.
want to be, I want them to know that somebody is coming, somebody does care, and you might think it's a in it a small thing. Yeah, you fell, but you need help. You wouldn't call if you didn't. I want to be there to make sure that they know that there is someone that is going to show up. And it, some people might say that it's nothing special, but to them, showing up, it's everything.
Everything. Absolutely everything. I love that answer, by the way. That to me was better than I want to help people.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
I do want to do that too.
yeah. Well, and I tell people like all the time, it's hard because this is one of the most thankless jobs there is. But I tell them all the time, if I could bottle this emotion when you get back from a call and just was it yesterday? Yes, it was yesterday morning. We had to do an extrication as I was on my way to work. I turned around and came back. Only four of us on the truck. That's all we had.
Yeah,
It's a daytime response. Everybody's at work. There's only four of us doing a job meant for 8 to 10 people.
right,
But we got her out of the car. We talked to her. She just had a little bit of arm pain. Sent her off in the ambulance. She's going to be fine. And it's that feeling coming back. Nobody said thank you, but it's that feeling riding back in the truck knowing I made a difference today.
right.
I made a
And
difference in this person's life, the trajectory of it.
and it's because we go out and I mean, we train every Tuesday night.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
because we train and we know. I know that if I don't show up on a call, I know that my guys, the ones that are going to show up, that show up to training every Tuesday night, they know what they're doing and I can trust it.
Yep.
It's there, it's been, there's been times that it's been tough. I almost had to hang my helmet up back in 18. We had a mass casualty incident right down the road for me. My child was two, I think, two. and it was mostly children. I lost my patient. It was an extended period of time on scene with patient care. Our ambulance service was level 0, and so it felt what could have been 5 minutes. It felt like an hour. We flew 3 patients off of that scene, and my patient passed away. But I saw on scene there was a little 2-year-old child, and I looked down and I saw that, and I almost crumbled because that's the same age as my child. And then losing the patient was 7, and we lost him. I didn't know if I was going to be able to continue. I mean, I've had juvenile calls, but to lose a juvenile in that way because they were thrown from the vehicle,
Not fair.
I broke down.
Yeah.
And I came from a family that we didn't show our emotions, and I had to give it to God because I would have I would have given it up. I was like, if this is where you need me to do your work, and you have to help me because I can't anymore. I can't anymore. It hurts too much. And my faith has gotten me this far because that was back in 18. We're in 26 now. I mean, I thought I was done, and I was hurting for myself and my community because I've put so much time and effort into training to just hang it up.
Well, I
But
commend you for
mentally,
not. I commend you for not. That's people will never understand. And again, and correct me if I'm wrong for your district. Most of what we do doesn't end like that,
no,
but
no,
we do encounter it. And
yep,
when children are involved and you're a parent,
yeah,
I don't think you could ever really explain that to anybody who's never done it before.
no.
Um,
It's nothing that I would want to have to explain to someone because that hurt was too much for me to bear by myself. And I don't want to put that on someone else. I mean, my husband does this and he does law enforcement, and I couldn't talk to him about it. And I knew mentally I was cooked. I was like,
right.
I can't do this anymore.
You're in defensive mode, you're in survival
Mhm.
mode, your brain's just kind of trying to
Yep.
make sense of what you've seen. Absolutely. Well, I commend you for powering through that, turning to your faith. It's a trend that I've heard over the last couple of weeks as I've been on this podcast, and,
Yeah.
and people turn to it a lot. And I always say, and I'm not the most religious person in the world. I admit that.
Yeah.
But I do feel that there's a purpose for me here on this earth, and it's this.
Yes.
It's to be there when others can't be. And like I think you put it so beautifully, if this is the work you want me to continue for you, then I'm in it. Right.
Yes.
So I really do. I wasn't expecting that. And but that adds to your character and why.
Yeah.
And for every call like that, we get 100 where the outcome isn't like that. And
Right.
and where I
Right.
was going before this is like I was trying to explain earlier, I wish I could bottle that feeling up
Hmm.
and make you drink it as if you're part of the
Yeah.
problem and have you drink it just so you can feel a little bit because even as I try to put it into words, if you could just feel a little bit of what I felt the other day pulling that woman out of the car,
Right.
I'm telling you, you're hooked for life. This is the most addictive
For
drug on the
life.
planet.
And somebody asked me if I could see the outcome of that call, would I have still gone? And my answer is yes.
Yeah, so you are.
Because yes, we lost one patient, but we had 10 others and they all made it.
Absolutely.
Now, does it suck that we lost him? Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I live with that. It's manageable now, but I still think about him from day to day. Um, and as well as the other patients that I've lost. And most of those, unfortunately, are car wrecks. And
Yeah.
we have Highway 33 is one of the most deadly highways in Oklahoma, and it goes
Right
right
across.
through. Yeah. So unfortunately, car wrecks are a big thing of what we do. And until people start understanding that being behind the wheel and having this out is what's deadly, it's not the car, it's not paying attention.
Yes, it's the most important job anybody has. It's
Yeah.
funny what we were talking about this morning. We were talking about risk. Well, why, it's risky. Why would you do that? I'm like, you realize it's riskier to go to the grocery store and back. than it is to be a member of this fire department. And I'm not
Absolutely.
downplaying anything that we do.
No.
I've
Right.
been in 3 fires in 25 years where I felt my safety was close to in question.
Yeah.
3. And there's been a couple times in the expressway. We got an expressway that runs through town. There's been a couple times in
Mhm.
the expressway where I felt traffic's
Yeah.
not slowing down. But I've been on thousands of calls. Like,
Right.
I've got my family around me and they're going to
Yeah.
protect me, right? So the risk factor, like I said, driving to the grocery store and you take driving in the fire department. It is, as a training officer myself, I put more emphasis into driving. To me, it is the most important job on the fire ground. We got to
Yep.
get there.
We
And
do
something's on
safely.
fire. I need somebody to make sure I have water, and then we need to get home to our families. It is by far the most important job, and you better take it seriously.
Right.
Um,
I mean, that's a conversation that I've had a few different times with a few different newer people where they live just outside of city limits or up in Stillwater. Um, and it's a 65-mile-per-hour highway from Stillwater to Perkins. And I'm like, hey, good on you for getting here. We tell you come no matter what, because you might not make that first truck, but you might make that second truck or
yeah,
the tertiary truck. That being said, you need to do the speed limit and abide by the laws of the road. Because if you get in a car wreck, it's not going to be, oh, so and so got in a car wreck. It's going to be Perkins firefighter in a car
absolutely,
wreck because
100%.
we are trained to know and do better.
Yes.
We know we shouldn't be driving crazy
Yeah.
because it can lead to an accident. And what happens when you get in an accident? People can die.
Yeah.
It's just, we
It's one of
can't
the,
be doing that.
I remember being young. That was one of the hardest lessons to learn,
Yep.
especially with a structure fire. Like, you don't even realize sometimes how fast you're going down the road. Oh boy, I better slow down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Back in the day when we had people everywhere, like it meant making the first truck or not.
Yes.
Today, I live 2 miles away. I probably got time to get up and go to the bathroom, brush my
Mhm.
teeth, put my contacts in, and then go to the firehouse and still make the first truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but hey, we got a few minutes left, Brianna, and I got a couple questions. So,
Absolutely.
in a few words, tell me what the Perkins Fire Department means to you.
It means this is going to be the easy answer. It means the whole world to me. That being said, the people inside of is what counts. Those guys and gals are salt of the earth people. Even if they can't get there, they want to be there.
Yep.
It gives me a purpose, and I mean, it's my heart, really. I mean, it truly is. I love that place. I love the people in it. It's like herding cats around there some days, but
It's
I
like any
mean,
organization, though.
oh yeah,
Yes.
100%. They're a
So
bunch of
yeah,
mouthy cats, but they're mine, and I love it. I love them.
good. So safe to say, similar to oxygen for you.
Yes,
So what would
absolutely.
it mean if someday your volunteer numbers dwindle, can't get trucks on the road? What would it mean if the county came in or somebody, the state came in and said, "Oh, we're going to shut the fire station down. We're going to go to a county system." What would that mean to you if the Perkins Fire Department no longer existed?
I, I I mean, I'd be heartbroken. We put in. I mean, even the guys that can't make it every single week, we put in hours at blood, sweat, and tears. It would be devastating,
Yeah,
not only for me, but the city of Perkins. It would
yeah,
be an absolute devastation because longer response times, you might not necessarily get anyone to respond. I
right.
mean, right now we have people that no matter what time of day, we're responding.
Yep,
You might not get that if we go to a county system.
absolutely. All right. So to sum this up, okay, this is one of my favorite segments of this podcast, and I'm a new guy, okay, 42 years old. I just moved to Perkins. Don't really have a fire background. Coached some little league.
Mhm.
Um, I walk up to the door. I find you because you answer it, and I say, "Look, Brianna, like I feel this calling. I feel this in my heart. I want to do more. I don't know if I have the time or commitment, but I'm feeling drawn to this, and I need to do it." You got 2 minutes because I got to get out of here and go pick up my kids. 2 minutes to explain to me why I should take this application, go home, fill it out, and bring it back as quickly as I can.
We're a family. I mean, I'm sure you've heard it time and time again. You watch the movies, you see the shows, whatever. It is a family. If you're going through something, we will be here.
Yep.
If you're, you just want something to fill up the rest of your time, fill up the rest of your plate like the rest of us, we're here. I mean, you text us, we're there in a minute. You call, we're answering.
Yep. That's my favorite part of it. I often say I could be in a really extremely pissy mood from work or whatever. We train on Mondays. So
Yep.
Mondays generally suck anyway. Um, you know, you spend all day Sunday. Yeah, you spend all day Sunday dreading Monday. But no, I could have the worst day on Monday and I could even pull into the parking lot pissed off and miserable. And then I walk up and I open that door and it's like, zoop, I'm a new person. And maybe it's partly survival and self-conscious, knowing that if I don't snap out of it, my balls are going to get busted like crazy until I do.
Somebody's going to make fun of you for something. Yeah.
Yeah. If anybody from Perkins is listening to right now, and I hope that when this thing airs, obviously some of the clips will air. I'm hoping obviously you guys will share it and some people from Perkins will hear it. You got their ear right now. What should they know about you guys?
About the Perkins Fire Department?
About the Perkins Fire Department, all the people in it. You got their ear. What would you tell them?
We love you. Call us if you need us. Can't tell you how many times somebody's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. We didn't know what else to do." We are here. This is what we train for. If you feel the need, even an inkling to call 911, that's what we train for. Call. We're always here.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that answer. Well, Brianna, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes with me today. I actually thoroughly enjoyed this conversation.
Same.
And I wish we had another hour to keep going. What we will do is probably follow back up with you in a few months, and we'll do a snapshot. We'll take a picture, a mental picture of what you guys have now. We'll meet again in a couple months and see what's changed, what's better, what's not better, and then maybe talk some more shop, some more war stuff.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thanks, Brianna, so much. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the Heart of the Volunteer. We surely met a pure heart of a volunteer tonight, and so thank you so much. Until next time, we'll catch you all later. You know what stands out to me the most after that conversation? It's not the wildfire stories. It's not the call volume. It's not even the tough calls she walked you through, even though that's the one that probably hits you in the chest the most. It's the reality sitting underneath all of that. You've got a department, 25, 27 people on the roster, and 7 are carrying it. 7. And yet, nobody's quitting. Nobody's saying they don't care. Nobody's walking away from it. They just don't have much left to give. That's a different problem than we've been telling ourselves. We've spent years saying people don't want to volunteer anymore. They're not built the same. That the next generation doesn't get it. But listen to her. That's not what she's saying at all. They do want to be there. They just can't. And if we're being honest, that might be harder than ever to fix, because now it's not about motivation. It's about reality, families, jobs, time, life pulling in directions that this job can't compete with anymore. And in the middle of that, you've got people like Brianna, still going, still answering, still getting up at 1 a.m. after finally getting her kids to sleep, knowing exactly what she might be walking into. And here's the part that matters most. She doesn't go because it's exciting or because it's easy. And she definitely doesn't go because she hasn't seen the worst of it yet. She's seen it. She's lived it. She's a veteran. She's been on a call that almost made her walk away for good, and she still came back. Why? Because she understands that something that most people just don't. When a call comes in, the person on the other end isn't thinking about your schedule. They're not thinking about your staffing troubles. They're not thinking about how many people are on the roster. They just want someone to show up. And right now, across this country, that someone is the same small group of people over and over again. That's not sustainable, but it's still happening because of people like her. So the question isn't whether the volunteer fire service still works. It does. The question is, how long can we keep working like this? And more importantly, who's next to step in and carry it? Because at some point, it can't just be the same 7 people anymore. And I really appreciate Brianna for being so real about it. Not polished, not filtered, just honest. Because that's what this needs right now. And if you're listening to this, if you feel that pull even a little bit, don't ignore it. Because this only keeps going if more people decide to show up. This has been another episode of The Heart of the Volunteer. We'll see you next time.